Thank you very much, Esther, Valentin, and congratulations to Friedrich Naumann Foundation for this spectacular meeting that we are experiencing today. Over the next 30 minutes, we are going to discuss the role of the women and their professional profiles that are at the center of the global strategy once COVID-19 pandemic is finished. We are going to discuss this topic at all levels, especially the economic one. That's exactly what the amazing Eva Diaz, CEO of Shaping New Humans and Apogeo, Magat Ward, CEO of Skin and Director of Atlas Network Center for African Prosperity, and Sana Fouiz, founder and director of Womenpreneur Initiative, are going to debate. Thank you all three for joining us today. I invite you to make questions in our webpage, www.mdmainlessgo.com. My first question is going to Eva. Eva, as an ambassador for Female for War of Friedrich Naumann Foundation, which project are you undertaking to break down the barriers that prevent women from reaching management positions?
Hi, Anna. I will say, no, I don't want to talk about concrete projects. I think that we are working on two main axes. First one is to put the role model of those executive women that are leading big companies close to the girls and their family, because it's very important to show that we are able to lead big technology companies. The role model of the women in the business is not so close to the girls in order that they can understand that they can be what they want. Okay, so for us it's very important to be so close as possible of the girls about these role models, and these activities is one of them with Sana and Margaret. And the second one is try to be to put the technology close to the woman. Technology is the big driver of entrepreneur in the world today and the future. And you know that the movement of women entrepreneurs related to technology is very low, not only in Spain, in general, in Europe, and of course in South Europe and North Africa. So one of the main access to be sure that the woman can access to big levels of economic and to be as free as possible, because they are economic free, is technology. So we are trying to develop activities in order to explain technology, to show how technology can help, to avoid problems or negative reaction about technology that in some cases can be shown by some women, in order to put then the main tool to be as free as possible in an economic way.
Thank you, Eva. We have Magat Wade. Yes, hello, Magat.
Hi.
My next question is for you. You were named one of the 20 young power women of Africa by Forbes US. Being already your second business, you founded your own cosmetic firm with the aim of reducing racial discrimination. Can you tell us more about how you are carrying out this project, please?
You know what? I lost you for a second there. Can you repeat, please? You just came back for me.
Okay.
Towards the end of the question. Sorry.
You were named one of the 20 young power women of Africa by Forbes US. Being already your second business, you founded your own cosmetic firm with the aim of reducing racial discrimination. Can you tell more about how you are carrying out this project?
Yeah, so Skin is actually my third company. I built two before, but that's okay. So for me, it's just this approach that business should be for, I'm a conscious capitalist. I call myself a conscious capitalist. And so what conscious capitalists stand for is we believe that we believe in the stakeholder model, not necessarily the way the philosophers have defined it, because traditionally that used to be more like the socialist views of, going back to central planning. But when we talk about stakeholder model, it's the fact that, we have found that businesses who have a higher purpose, who are here for the greater good, actually do, they do perform better than their competitors who are not conscious capitalists, who are just going by convention, and for them, profit is the ends of all goals. So I start going from that principle of I am in business because I want to make the world a better place. I realize the power of business to tackle all of our important social issues. I took on, race relations, especially as it relates to this country, America. And my journey on that started back in 2016, 4 years before George Floyd actually happened. Because 4 years before George Floyd happened, we had another series in the summer of 2016, video after video of Black men being shot and killed by the police in some of the most inhumane ways. So for us, what we have decided to do is to really try to look at the science of bias, the science of discrimination, and then from there see how is it that the brand could actually change the culture around these issues. And it's really at this point a cultural issue. Yes, do we have some systemic issues? Do we have tons of bad laws that actually do promote discrimination in America? Of course we do. But beyond that, anybody who understands the science of bias, this simple idea that if you've got a brain, you've got biases, which is all of us, then we do realize we've got some other type of work to do. So I won't bore you with all the details here, but that's what Skinny Skin is all about. We are here. We are the bomb on a mission to fight discrimination. And it's manufactured in Africa. So this is one of the rare skincare products being manufactured in Africa and sold in the top retailers here in the US. So that's pretty much on a nutshell what we're doing. But the other hat that I wear is you said it. It's I'm the director for the Africa Center for Prosperity, and so there what we do is we finance free market oriented think tanks all over the continent. And one of the ones I'm most proud of, because they really focus solely on women, is the one we're financing up in South Sudan, and it's called Soul, the organization. And there right now we are financing their project around making sure that women, South Sudanese women, get access to property rights. Because we all know as women entrepreneurs, how important it is to have access to clear and transferable property rights. So that organization there is working solely on that, and also making men understand that women are not necessarily their enemies, because you're dealing in a very Muslim environment in there. So what they have done is really find this really nice balance of trying to promote women, but not in a way that it feels like it's taking away from men, because usually when that happens, they tend to fight and argue, and then we don't make much progress. So these are the different activities that I'm involved in, and as they relate to women entrepreneurship.
Thank you, Maguette. So interesting and so powerful. Sana, my question for you is, what did it mean to you found Womenpreneur Initiative and give voice to a community of 10,000 women and 20 countries?
Thank you so much, Anna. Well, actually, we have so far, since 2016, empowered and reached 15,000 women. And basically, when I started the organization, before I was working as consultant for the international community organizations. And basically, I noticed that the international organizations, they have quite ambitious resources, but in general, there is this lack of understanding the local needs. So I decided to stay 1 year in the MENA region, travel from one country to another, just to assess the needs and the realities of women in this region. We tend to kind of treat women from this region as a homogeneous group, which is not. Each group of women in each country has or have their own unique experiences and realities, and also the economic, the political atmosphere that do impact on the situation of women. So I decided to kind of establish an initiative that will fill in the gap. And for me, the economic empowerment was the right formula to start with. I use entrepreneurship and technology, the ecosystem, as tools to empower women to become financially independent, and then they will assess and examine the environments around them and actually shift social mindsets. I think only that two formulas that will actually help to support and empower women. So since 2016, we have reached 15,000 women. We have implemented 35 projects so far. During COVID, we have started the first program to support women who have businesses who have been impacted by COVID to actually do a digital transition of their businesses and to kind of recover from COVID. And then we have been nominated by Council of Europe among the most inspiring initiatives during COVID. And then we implemented an initiative called Womenpreneur Digital Hub, which is a virtual space. So far, we have 6,000 members using this space all across the MENA region. And it is basically a space where we're using technology. We are basically educating these women on all the tech trends in order to create new economic and job opportunities. So for me, creating Womenpreneur is basically creating a space where women feel safe, feel empowered, and basically feel active in the economy, especially in the MENA region, where women represent today are really the lowest percentage of employment in the entire world. And we have the highest kind of percentage of 40% of the lowest percentage in the world where women don't have actually the capacity to own businesses and to create businesses. So we're talking about a very fragile future where women are basically excluded more and more. Now with COVID, about 1 million of jobs have disappeared, and 47% of these jobs are done by women. So for us, Womenpreneur is the space where we empower women, but also it's a space where we kind of, try to kind of warn that if we don't do anything now, we're going to lose the future tomorrow.
Thank you, Sana.
Pleasure.
Now we are going with the general questions. Will the business world after COVID-19 be different for women? I think you, Eva, have something interesting.
I think that there is data is very important that Sana mentioned previously, is that the impact of COVID in the loss of work has been impacted more in women than in men. Okay, so in fact, we like women are coming from a lower level that we had in the past in the pre-pandemic position. So we are going to have to fight with that problem. The other problem is that you know that the women usually the higher percent of occupation of the women is in sectors that have been affected a lot by pandemic, like hotels, restoration, also etc. So in fact, we are going to have a problem because we have more problems to access to the work, and we are accessing to an environment with more problems than in the past. And sectors like hotels or restoration, for example, where the companies are using technology in order to modernize their companies. I think that we have to be intelligent. I think that the main vector to introduce women in the labor environment is entrepreneurship. And there are 2-3 sectors that are going to be improving a lot in the short term. One of them is well-being, another is health, e-health, especially. Another one is a lot of activities related to entertainment and etc. Okay. Especially our sector where the woman has been a lot of represented in the past. Okay, so but let's go to be intelligent. Let's go to use our knowledge of these sectors in order to apply technology to modernize and to work in that areas. I have, I will say, a lot of around 10-12 young women that are putting in place startups regarding with baby care, silver economy, e-health, and etc. And they are being very, very successful. Okay, so I will say that okay, we have a problem, we have a big problem, but if we are intelligent and we use technology in order to penetrate on the sectors that are going to be more demanding in the short term, we have an opportunity.
Something else to say?
I can only agree with that. I think the future, I mean, of economy in general, I mean, COVID changed everything. I mean, even our social interactions have changed. And I think today it's time for us to actually grab the opportunities that COVID is presenting today. If we look at the economy and the future of the job market, we are going to create our own economic opportunities. We talked about it just earlier. Today, you are your boss. You are the person who's going to generate revenues for you, generate an opportunity for you. And I think we need to also see what are the future industries that are basically representing the future. I mean, technology is the heart of the future. And if you look at the industries that are most interesting, you have the VR, you have artificial intelligence, you have data science. So basically, you don't have anymore to have a big office and have 3,000 colleagues from home. You can create your own job opportunity. So definitely, the future is basically beginning today, and actually began 1 year ago when COVID started. So we need to put on have that mindset as a society to accept that the change is here. We need to take it within us and work on putting in place the right systems for the future. Because in 20 years from now, we're going to have what we call the jobless population. More and more, because robots and machines are taking over. And if you look at Japan, for instance, during COVID, they have used robots as nurses. So basically, robots are taking slowly our jobs, I would say. And especially now with the learning machine, with the brain machine. So we need to actually accept those changes and we need to adapt to them. Otherwise, in 20 years from now, some of you might be part of the jobless population. So this is something to consider. So I think for me, it's not only about the change that is going to happen in the job market, it's about the reflection that we need to have as collectively, as a society for the future of our humanity.
Completely agree with you and what is going to happen with the future of the work. Maguette, you want to add something else?
Yeah, so I think for me, I'm one of those people who I'm actually very excited to be getting into a world where robots are going to be taking so much space, actually. And what I challenge people on is it's not going to be a jobless society. It's not going to be that. I think where we're moving into is a world in which robots are going to take all the minions' work. The work that takes a lot of time is quite repetitive. Once you've done it, you don't. It's really like all of this work that the robots can take, like whether it's driving or cleaning your home or anything like that. Please, robots, take it away and deal with it. What excites me about that is the fact that it's going to call all of us to actually have to call our humanity. Because that's really what's going to make the difference between us and robots. Us humans, we have this amazing ability to make sense of a world in a way that the most sophisticated computer or robot with the most sophisticated coding, really, we're anywhere close to any robot being able to make all the, build all the neuronal relationships that, a human being can do. Because for us, it's not just about the algorithm behind the scene, but there's also all this other stuff that's around you. So let me take an example. My husband and I are very much into education, and he's the Mr. Education by excellence. But for us, it is about, technology is great. For EdTech is great in the sense that technology really does support the work that we do. But at the end of the day, the most important part is still being done by humans. So although we just started our virtual school here in the US, that's also going to be, we have students from around the world, actually. What we're finding is we use technology to help us with the most, with the work that doesn't need human intervention. Like, sometimes when the kids are working on their math problems or they're working on some of the grammar issues, some of the softwares are really good to help them with that. But then when it comes down to the Socratic discussions, for example, which we are known for and at the heart of the education that we provide, it has to be done with human being 101, even if it's over the internet. And also this concept of coaching young people, just like, entrepreneurs have coaches. So for me, I'm really excited of getting into this world where finally humans are going to have to be the humans that we were designed to be. And everybody's going to be doing their work. The robots do the work, and us humans do the part that no robot in the world can do. This human touch that we need so badly, no one can replace. So the nurses, so yes, in Japan, robots replace nurses here and there. That's great. Some of the functions can be replaced, but I am a firm believer that human beings, especially sick human beings, are always going to need a human touch and a human presence. So for me, that's the era I see ahead, an era where finally we're freed from the minion work, and we can go into becoming and being the full-blown human beings we've ever been. And I think it's just going to create better social health for all of us and more human happiness for all of us and flourishing. So that's what I see coming ahead. And COVID did force us into...
I would love to have a discussion with you on this, just separately after the event. It would be quite interesting to discuss it further.
You can go for it.
Because I think I do see your point, and it's important to be positive, and it's important to kind of have this kind of, exciting perspective of the future. I think where we kind of, I agree with you, is that the fact there is one thing that probably robots and machines are not going to replace in the future, which is the emotional intelligence. That's the thing that so far machines are not able to actually compete with humans, and that's the interesting aspect. But when it comes to technology taking over jobs of humans, this is a serious threat. I mean, if you look at different countries, I mean, probably in the West we have certain means, but if you look in developing countries and underdeveloped countries, they are not going to be able to compete with the machine taking over. And again, with machines, what's interesting is that we're going to have the new elite. The new luxury is actually the people, the groups, the systems that we're going to control the data. So that means that we're going to have an even deeper division in society. And we're going to have, unfortunately, a lot of poverty and a lot of people who will be not able to actually meet the means at the end of the day. So this is where we should not look at it as a danger. We should look at it as a future reality, and we should work on it now to put the right plans. It's like COVID. I mean, if you look, Bill Gates has already warned people, warned institutions, warned governments about this future health crisis. Today we live it, and we see the impact. And I think this is what we need to do, is to actually prepare for future crises.
I would like to add.
Can I respond to that? Can I respond to that real quick, Volvo? Because can I respond to that real quick?
Yeah. Go for it.
Okay. So, yeah, of course, as you can imagine, I couldn't disagree more with you on all that. I just couldn't. So first of all, I think when you talk about the emotional intelligence and saying that robots will not, we don't see a future in which the robots are going to have this emotional intelligence. I think there you're agreeing with me that humans still have a competitive edge over robots. Number two, your point of, the people in the developing world are just going to suffer more. And that is because you would be accepting a principle upon which there is no way the global poor is going to be catching up with the rest of the world. And that's simply not something that people like me believe in. I don't believe in this world where we're going to keep on having the haves and the have-nots. If you look at places like the Human Progress, which is a very reputable place, we have this tendency of always thinking that the world is getting worse and worse and worse off. Absolutely not. This is the best time and day in the history for me to be a Black woman walking on this earth, period. And on that, if you want to have a deeper debate, let's go there. We can have it. So I believe in the ability of humans to really figure it out as we go. That's what we do. That's what we're designed for. So let's go back to your developing world people and saying, oh, when the robots are taking their job. What I'm talking about the need for humans to have human connection. For example, we make, this is one of the products we make in Africa. You could have this be made by a robot coming out by the millions from the machine every single day. But guess what? We are competing and very successfully making this product all handmade. We're competing against companies who are making it by the robots, and our customers want this product better over those because this has a soul for them. This has a soul for them. So we can decide in which directions is it that do we go. And then your other point about it's an elitist world where, AI and the artificial intelligence and the robotics and all of this concept of skill sets based around, technological knowledge is going to create more inequality among the world. I'm like, no, we need to, again, realize that humans, sometimes you need to leapfrog. See, in Africa, for example, most of our people never had to know the phone landlines. Why? Because by the time they got to where they got to, the cell phones has taken over everywhere. Banking. How many Africans will never know what it is to be traditionally banked? Because we're beyond that. It's over. Happily, gladly. So in our situation, for example, when you say, it's going to be an elite thing, no, then what does it mean? Maybe it means that also at the education level, we have to rethink what is it that we're teaching young people. And that's, for example, one thing we do. Our academy is out there teaching kids who, before we ever reach them, have never even touched a computer. They come from the most poorest part of the population. And guess what? These kids are being positioned tomorrow to be part of a 21st century job market where they're going to be among those who can also go ahead and code which robot is going to be doing what. So I am a firm believer in the resilience of the human nature and the human capacity and capabilities. And I am not giving up on making sure that everybody thrives and thrives together. I believe there's an opportunity here for a rising tide. Are we going to be able to make it all happen at once? Absolutely not. But do we have what it takes to get there? I believe so. So call me a radical optimist. I do think that history has proven me right in terms of our ability to progress as humans. But that's just what I would have to say on what you just said.
Thank you, Meguette.
Hi. Hello. Well, first of all, congratulations, girls, for such a great panel about female forward. And I have a few questions from the audience. For example, this is Kamel, who's asking, the panel proves different, but do you think there's a lack of female role models in the economic field? Which are yours? For example, Eva, you want to try?
Absolutely, yes.
Of course.
Absolutely, yes. Just in Spain, for example, from the 5 biggest technology companies, 4 of them are leading for a woman. And there's no knowledge in our houses, in our families, in the country. No? So we need not only to know the role models and the executives, to need to learn from them how they have been able to get the position, what problems or barriers they have faced, how they have solved their problems, how they have combined the roles at the house and the role at the company. We need to learn how to get on that positions, and we need to learn that they are happy. Mm-hmm. It's possible. It's not absolutely necessary to take a decision between my house and my husband and my children or my profession. It's possible to compatibilize.
And I have another good one from Beatriz. She said, how did the panelists drive their businesses through the crisis? Did they develop new strategies? Shana, for example.
Thank you. I mean, for us at Womanpreneur, to be honest with you, the crisis was a good reflection moment for us. Like, first week, we kind of decided with the team just to kind of, all of us working from home, okay, this is the situation, what can we bring to the table that is innovative? To make sure that we shift our work, we reach our community, we make sure that all women in our community is served. So definitely we had our own challenges because normally womenpreneur, we work on the ground. So we travel to all the countries. We couldn't travel because of COVID. And one of our main target group, which are marginalized women, we could not reach out to them. First, because they are not connected to internet, they don't have access to internet. This is, again, it's a privilege, it's a luxury. Not everyone has the internet and the kind of, even a computer. So that's a challenge. And second, we didn't have the right mechanism to actually serve them during this economic crisis because most of them are survival entrepreneurs who are working as a solo entrepreneurs just to make sure that they meet the needs. So we had to do a lot of lobbying with different governments on the MENA region. We drafted so many recommendations for COVID kind of recovery. We advised from far away from Belgium. But then we decided to kind of create an online platform where basically we empower women who have already access to computers and who have also access to internet. And the objective is that they are trained, they are empowered, and the objective is that they're going to become ambassadors of womenpreneur, and they will go to empower those who are marginalized. So basically we try to create a circle of empowerment. And the results are super interesting. We have 6,000 members who are 6,000 ambassadors today, and each one of them is actually trying to help other women.
Wow.
Because I think if there is anything that COVID has brought is actually this collective social responsibility, that one is supporting other people. So basically this is how we try to shift our work.
Good for you. This is what Female Forward is about.
Indeed.
On the other side.
You.
Maguette, are you there? What about you? You make something different during the crisis.
Yeah, by the way, I'm here, but you just can't, I might be, I'm looking here, I'm having some battery problems. But no, I mean, what we did is just like everybody else. This is basically, COVID made us accelerate some of the decisions that we had been thinking about. And one of them really was this big decision of, are we even going to try to go online or not? Before COVID hit, we were really having this big debate as to how much hybrid were we going to make our retail, our sales channels to be. And COVID made us make a decision right away, so that was a good thing. And then when it came to our work in Africa, we developed new ways of obviously working, and we kind of saw a lot of gaps that we had. There were some things that we could tell we were just not ready for. I had to, during COVID, I had to really go back and do what we call de-risk my company. So that's what COVID made us do. I had to go back and hire an agency and work with them to de-risk the company because we noticed that we relied on too many traditional, pathways to get to where we needed to get to. And so that's what it did for us. And I feel so much stronger today for, how we're approaching things because of that process. And it was all because of COVID. So yeah, that's what happened for us.
Wow. So inspiring listening to you, girls. And thank you for this great panel. I insist. We must continue the journey, and at that time, we have another debate. It's called Boosting Resilience, Diversifying Supply Chains in the Mediterranean. And we have ready, I hope, Roger Alvillana Salgui, Director of the Mediterranean Regional Policies and Human Development. And we have, of course, David Henenberger. He's the head of the office here in Madrid from the Friedrich Naumann Foundation. David, all yours.